So we found currently the oldest female infant burial in Europe. We were at the site actually looking for Neanderthal remains, but we ended up kind of bit by bit finding evidence of this material culture. So we were finding pierced shell beads that were coming out in increasing frequencies. And so much so that it became sort of like, slow down, a lot, like we're close to something. And it was very delicate. I mean, as we were sort of coming down and excavating it, you could see articulated lines of pierced shell beads, where, you know, whatever was holding the beads together had long disintegrated away, but the beads were still in their original location. These shell beads are all in place, still articulated. They're wrapping around the humerus of the baby. And then here's one of the pendants. The first season we ended up uncovering a little bit of the cranial vault from the infant. We could tell it was a very small juvenile.
We came to learn a lot about that infant, and one of the exciting things I think about the find is the richness of which we've been able to document not only the burial context itself, but also in terms of the biology. The female individual, 40 to 50 days postnatal at the age of death.
This early Mesolithic time period is kind of this blank hole where we're not quite sure exactly what was going on.
It's important simply because it provides a data point for a time period that's not very well known, especially in Southern Europe where there are very few early Mesolithic sites.
She's very unique in being from this age, 10,000 years old, a burial from that age. She's also unique in being the first infant female burial. So there are other child burials, but there's some in Austria that are much older, identified as male, also highly decorated. She's the first genetically identified female.
The team became attached to the name Neve, and it is what we ended up calling her and referring to her. Neve means snow in Italian. There's some controversy about the nicknaming of finds like this. Some people view it as she's from a culture and a time period that's far removed from us, and to apply a name that is imposed upon her. Certainly her people probably gave her a name, and we're imposing it to some degree on her. But I think most of the team really, we had felt some emotional attachment to this child and could certainly relate, many of us being parents, to the loss of that child. And we can refer to her as Neve, or we can refer to her as AVH1, which is the specimen name. And to us, it is more humanizing to give her a name that we feel some emotional attachment to.
For me, it ended up being really poignant because I was pregnant the summer that we discovered the infant burial. And so I had developing within me this child, and my husband and I learned that summer that she was a girl. And then to find this infant, to have that kind of connection and I had had a miscarriage before, about 6 months before, so to understand loss so immediately, I think really added to our connection to this particular individual. And certainly it gives us a deep lens in which to understand the significance of what it's like to lose a child, to bury a child, to find a child. It's clear that they were giving her personhood, they were giving her significance. They were saying, like, you are one of us, and we're returning you to the earth with all of these items that took us hours upon hours to make and to sew. The beads were passed down, so they were not made for the infant or for her burial. There's evidence for them having been worn, which means that they're like family heirlooms that are being buried with the child, and that already gives you a sense that there is an intent of burying this child with a sense of family, a sense of belonging, a sense of you are one of us and we're giving you our heirlooms to go into eternity with. So I think that's something that is really special for this little girl.